In this video, I'm gonna be teaching you how to start increasing your rating without having to do thousands of puzzles. Quick disclaimer, puzzles are super important and you'd better close the video in order to do some, but we already both know that you're so not gonna do that. However, this is your lucky day because you can still gain hundreds of rating points by simply fixing your fundamental understanding of the game. So in the first part of the video, I'm gonna give away a few tips on how you can do that, and then I'm gonna just jump into some games and try to show these concepts in action. So first of all, calculation is a huge part of chess. I think we can both agree on that, but you really want to understand that it really starts to shine when the position is open. What do you mean when the position is open? A position is usually open when a bunch of pawns have been traded off already. Like for instance, in the position that we have on the board, because there are no pawns in the center, the game will really rely on piece play, therefore some kind of concrete calculation. So the first thing that you can do in order to become a better player without having to do hundreds of hours of puzzles, you simply want to avoid these type of scenarios and play closed games, or let's say semi-closed games, like the position that we have on the board, for instance. You can look at it. The pawns are still stuck in the center. It's a very typical Caro-Kann position, and you could be like the greatest calculator of all time. That wouldn't be the most efficient skill to have in this position, because the pawns are in the way and you cannot really utilize your pieces in such an active way, and therefore you need to understand how to maneuver in these type of positions, which is something easier to do just by understanding your opening and following basic strategy. Now I'm gonna be jumping into some games and explain my thinking process while trying to recreate something that someone lower rated would do. Alright. Getting another white game, and are we gonna see another Vienna? Or we do get to see the French defense. First one of the series. Little does my opponent know that we're gonna be going for the very tricky Schlechter French. Just bishop to d3, yes, you heard it right. If knight f6, we get a very good version of this. Play c6. I have to say this is not given in my repertoire. I'm not actually super sure what is like the most precise reply to this. I would assume knight f3, there's nothing wrong with it, now that he played c6, but d4, bishop e4, knight f6. I think that's like a move. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go knight f3. Let him take. Let him play knight f6. If knight f6, e5. If d4, bishop e4, knight f6, I want to go bishop g5. That's kind of the theme. That's sort of a typical line, I think, here. Just gonna get castled as fast as we can. Just gonna apply basic opening rules against weird play. Okay, we see f6. Go for takes. Giving a check. Not gonna be winning immediately, but at least giving a very unpleasant check. He's losing the right to castle. Now, really important, guys. You really want to pay attention to this. We gave a check. Now, we don't let the bishop on that square, because that's what beginners would do. They play rook e1, they get their bishop trapped. No, he lost the right to castle. That's like huge. For the rest of the game, no matter how many moves he's gonna last, he's not gonna have a safe spot for the king. So it's worth like you spending 2 moves if you think about it. I mean, it's actually only 1 move since he has to move his king. So definitely a long-term investment right there. King is in the middle. How do we take advantage of the king in the middle? Open up the position. c4. We use pawns to open up positions. We don't really need to think about calculating stuff. We just need to apply the rule. Okay, develop, need to finish development. Next up, we could give this check with the bishop, taking advantage of the king. Just very simple. With every single move that I'm making, I'm trying to develop something. King b8, it's a nice little try to hide the king. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it standard. I'm just gonna take, trying to open up the position, and then I'm gonna go bishop to f4 check. Okay, only move bishop d6 for him. And you could definitely trade. That's not so bad. Could also play queen d2. Just preparing to take back with the with a queen. Okay, I'm gonna take. Just keeping it simple. Exchanging, going queen d2, connecting my rooks. So see, it's move 14. I got all my stuff developed. Rooks are connected. Now I've got a deadly threat of knight b5. If the queen moves away, that's a checkmate. If not, we can just play rook on the open file, get a knight to c5, and still can push these pawns. We just have long-term pressure against the enemy king, while black is still quite a lot of moves away from completing development, which is really something that should make you think. Whenever it comes to this opening, when you're playing 1e4, it's a lot about trying to get an early lead in development. He plays 97, does nothing to stop my idea of playing knight b5, queen a4, queen f4. However, let's say you're a 600, you're pretty likely not gonna see this. Okay, that's understandable. I know sometimes asking my viewers to see 2 moves in advance is maybe not like really the nicest of me. Okay, don't worry, completely fine. Everybody's welcome here. I'm just gonna try to play like I see nothing, which is gonna put me in like a good spot in your eyes, because in fact I don't see nothing, but now you'd think I'm just memeing for the content. No, I'm not. Trust me. I'm gonna get my knight to c5 as I said, and b5 is giving me a juicy target, while the knight is now no longer gonna be able to get kicked out. So knight gets there, can occupy the open file. Gonna do that next, okay? This is a hook. We can use it, but try to stick to these sort of typical moves that are never really bad, like placing your rooks onto the open file. We literally do that on the next move. I'm just not even like looking at what my opponent is doing. I'm just looking open file, put my rook there, try to activate my knight, and okay, then we're gonna look for hooks. Yeah, we see b5. What do we do with hooks? We use the pawns, and then we pick it up from there. You don't really need to like actually look it up in advance in order to win these type of games. Yeah, as I said earlier, knight b5, queen f4, end game on the spot. That would have been no fun. Just do simple central strategy. He does g5, tries to do something, just play a4. As I said, hook is on b5. We do attack it. If b4, okay, he plays b4. I don't know. We'll think about it in that position. Maybe he doesn't. We save a lot of energy. So let's see what let's see what he does. If he plays b4, I would be really tempted to keep attacking stuff. So what can we attack when he plays b4? I think the a6 pawn will definitely become more of like a vulnerable target. I know you may be confused a little bit with that, but I'm going to show you after he plays the move b4, because I definitely don't think he will do something else. He could do g4. I'm going to move my knight away. No question about that. I could enter the clinches, which may be very good for me. I don't know. We are not really focusing on trying to play the best move here. We're just trying to play simple good moves in general. Okay, opponent like really taking a pause here. That's bishop b7. More than happy to see this. I'm gonna say thank you to the free pawn. See, there is like rook e6 infiltrating, probably just crashing. Take your free pawn. Don't mind these kind of details. You're gonna get better at them in time. Okay, next, how do we make progress? Now, exchanging all the pieces and getting it into the endgame may not be the most effective strategy, since his king is like really almost wide open right there. But okay, I think there's like a pretty easy way that you can make progress here. First, let's make sure the knight is nicely supported on c5, and then looks like this file is a little bit too busy, so I feel like maybe we could find some action onto the a file on the next move. Yes, there is rook e6, that just crashing, picking up pawns, winning everything, I know. But Simple chess. No need to find good moves. Look on the open file. If he trades, we're fine with that. Conceding the file is definitely something that would put us quite ahead. Ready to take back. If he doesn't take, I think we're just gonna be taking his rook. Trying to bring the other one there. Okay, he takes, I'm happy. Then I'm ready to bring my queen onto the open file. Try to get mate. Do I see the mate? Not yet, but we're hoping to get some checkmate. He's trying to run away with the king. Do we care? I mean, not really. Just play queen a2 and try to stick to the checkmate idea. Maybe at some point we could exchange the bishop. Maybe then bring the queen, try to play a checkmate. He could potentially take the b4 pawn, but that is a bit of a poison pawn, and you're gonna see why if he takes. I mean, maybe you can even try to pause the video and think about that, because White has a pretty cute trick to mate, which was to sacrifice the queen on a8, because the knight is taking away the escaping squares. Okay, his king is trying to run away. What do? I can take on b7. I can, yeah. Taking on b7 definitely feels like something maybe most of my viewers would play. So I think we can do that. And bishop is under attack. For sure, bishop takes on c6 is very likely. Now we can give a check. Can also, yeah, probably I messed up most of my advantage. No problem though. This is how these games are going. You just gotta accept it and become comfortable with it. There's the queen a6. Hitting the rook. Check was tempting, but not doing that much. It felt like hitting this. Is he gonna like actually take? I feel like that's a bit suspicious. This game may come down to, like, let's say an even material type of position, where simply my king is a little bit safer because his king is just out in the woods. Let's queen c7. Thinking to just do rook c1, pinning the knight. I think that's like a very common sense move. He could do rook b6. That's fine. I mean, we've got options to check. Can step back. Yeah, I think everything is fine there. Hitting the knight. I definitely, genuinely think rook b6 is like only move. King d7, just b5 wins a piece on the spot. And rook b6, I think maybe just simply queen e2, give him the pawn, and then play queen e6, completely winning, because all of his pawns are vulnerable. It all comes down to the fact that my king is safe and his king is not. Dealing with unpleasant pin. b5 is a threat to win a piece. He has to take, but now because of this queen e6 move, hitting the weak pawns, having ideas to sometimes take. No need to blunder the back ranker though. Just playing super simple, okay? You don't have to win by like a big margin. You just need to constantly be in control, have threats. Yeah, rook c4. Okay, I mean, we can start taking pawns with check. That can hardly be a bad idea. You can also just switch the rook to e1, try to checkmate him directly. That may be a little bit harder for you to find, so I'm just gonna go rook c4 and take my free pawn. Oh, actually I had queen d5, by the way. I really played like a 600 this time unintentionally. I had that and winning the rook, but I just had my eyes on the juicy pawn, okay? I'm like a 600. I'm like literally becoming one. I've got the body of one. Now I'm like playing like one. So get to flag. We'll take that. See, just playing fast. Usually gets the job done. Just for those of you that are wondering about, yeah, 6 blunders. I made 6 blunders in this game, okay? So be it. We won the game. Was it like ever in doubt? I don't think so. We can run the game review if you guys want. Let's say what it says. I'm gonna say it's gonna say like an 80. See, we actually scored a 53, guys. How can, you may be wondering, like, how can an IM score like 53. Okay, I didn't see when I was losing, but we'll check it. How an IM can score 53 and win in like 700 rated games. I mean, you don't have to seek for the best move, just keep it simple. Okay, when was I losing? How am I losing in this position ever? Oh geez, just 94 and that's like winning for him? Come on, give me a break. Okay, apparently this was a mistake somehow. Wow. If I do like queen anywhere, I'm still like completely winning. But yeah. I think this was like never in doubt. It was just a very efficient conversion, start to finish. Rook c4 mistake, mistake over mistake. Final position is draw. Total clown fiesta. But that's why you love the channel, guys, okay? I hope you find this somewhat instructive. But before we dive into the next game, so as I was saying, like knight b5 was ending it on the spot, mating a few moves. Yeah, I actually had in mind this position. When I played queen a2, if he takes, there was checkmate with queen a8. And then the knight's taking away escape squares, and this rule is helping us delivering a little back rank motif. So, okay, with that being said, I think we can just move on to the next game. Alright guys, so quick interruption. I did say in the beginning of the video that in order to get to close positions, I really recommend playing stuff like the London system with white and Caro-Kann / Slav with black. Well, we already did that on the channel, so you can check it out in the playlist section. And in this video, this is actually part of my 1e4 rating climb for white. So if you're a fan of that, make sure to stick with it. And also, if you want to help the channel, please consider liking the video because it really helps the algorithm push it towards more people. And without further interruption, let's just get back into the action. All right. Getting another white game. And this time we do get to play against the Sicilian defense. Hello there, long time no see. Opponent goes e6 and we're gonna actually going to be playing the Western attack. I know, such a fancy name. I'm gonna play bishop b2. And on d5 the point is to take and play d4. Try to get into the IQP. And against moves like d6, there is definitely a number of interesting lines for white. I think I'm gonna play this. I could start with g3, bishop g2, and then castle. By the way, also in this position, queen e2 I think is an interesting move, making d5 harder to play. But yeah, this is like pretty standard stuff. Just going for the double fianchetto, and then we're most likely gonna transition into a Morochi bind. It's gonna be pretty positional. Sometimes this can get very aggressive. But yeah, I'm just gonna play like sort of a simple game plan. When knight f6 gets played, hitting my e4 pawn, I'm gonna defend with queen e2. And I'm planning to castle, play c4, knight c3, maybe like rook d1, and then try to break with d4. Then my bishops are gonna be on pretty nice squares here. Okay, you saw my like long-term plan. Probably opponent will do something crazy in the meantime, so I'll have to adapt. So knight f6, hitting the e4 pawn, just protecting it with the queen. Is he gonna play bishop e7 now? That would be most common move, I assume. Threatening to castle, I mean, preparing. Also, at some point, he could think of expanding, however, needs to watch out for e5 ideas, and my bishop is putting a lot of pressure on the diagonal. So not an easy position for black. Definitely, I'm expecting him to castle, maybe play bishop d7. And yeah, we're gonna do our typical thing here as well. He does go for that. I think after castle, c4 is a move, but usually in my repertoire, I think we focus on a d4 type of idea. Just go for it right away. Even if he could take twice on d4 with like a reasonable position, I think that's the way to go. Definitely, you could tease your opponents more by playing rook d1 first, or maybe c4. I think no need to rush with c4, as far as I can remember. Nothing wrong with his position so far. Okay, what is opponent doing? 3 pawn, we take that. We're not even discussing it. Now just go back. Trade all the pieces mode activated. Plays h5. Okay, we've got a rock solid fianchetto, so I don't think we really mind. Just play d4, try to open up the position. Continue with literally the same plan which we had before he gave us the free pawn. There's no reason why this would change. Take with a knight. There's like an pawn on h5 that's waiting to be taken. Not gonna be taking. I'm just letting him take. Like, even if he takes, it just achieves nothing. And in the meantime, I've got my eyes on a very juicy tactic with takes and then queen h5, queen h6, and that's like only a perpetual, I think. I really wished that worked. Too bad, I guess. Would have been a spectacular blow. Oh, I think I can make it work perhaps. Like if he takes, we can take with the f pawn. Yeah, I'm just gonna play knight d2. And if in case he takes, no, that doesn't work. If I go knight e6, he can take on h2 with check. So that doesn't work, unfortunately. But I just made like a normal developing move. I was hoping we could incorporate this tactic in like a nice little trick, but guess not. Just playing normal now. So I was saying, like, no need to complicate it. There's definitely exchanging move, but when you have such a juicy square on f5 in the Sicilian, you'll regret not occupying it. So just knight f5 instantly, and then this also weakens d5 square, the fact that he has push. So in the Sicilian, that's why the hedgehog is one of the most topical setups. Just controlling the center. When e5 gets played, 2 massive weaknesses, which I'm like definitely more than happy to put my knights on. And that's just strategically winning already. Knight c4, knight e3. Even fg is interesting, but just gonna keep it simple. Usually you take towards the center. I know fg is probably a much better move because we bring the rook into the game, but I'm just trying to teach you guys to play by the rules. Just keep it super standard. Gonna do like rook ad1. Literally was focusing all my army on the backward pawn on d6. It is named the backward pawn because it cannot advance, since ed5 is gonna be a move, and backward pawns are always very juicy targets. So besides the weak squares, there's also the backward pawn that's not helping black's position. And the position is really playing itself at this point. The enemy bishop is quite passive. These guys are not developed. I have finished development. I fianchetted my bishops. Rooks are connected. Knights are pretty active. Queen is developed. So I would definitely dare to say this opening was a success. Just continuing with the same plan. I don't mind bishop takes on f5 since that's going to give me access on the light squares for the rest of the game. And you know what's coming next? Just rook ad1, putting pressure on d6. Also an idea, if you don't have like enough pressure on d6, you could do bishop a3. And then that's just yeah, bringing more power onto d6. See, he does that. I mean, why would you care? Free bishop, what up a pawn? We've got our targets. Shall we risk it and give him any bit of counterplay? Why would you do that? Just keep your eyes on the ball, guys. Here is the target. You don't need to think about nonsense. Sure, computer would say maybe this was a better move objectively. If that gives me a 1% of chance of giving him an attack and losing the game, that's a bad move. So I think that's how you should think of it. Sure, you could spend more time trying to figure out whether you should take or not, but I've been sitting here already telling you that we're gonna play 94 rook d1 for quite a while now, and this pawn is just collapsing. Plays d5, but still, that's just free to take. Don't forget about my beautiful fianchetto bishop. Looks like it's sleeping there, but definitely getting the job done. Just gonna collect the free pawns. We literally don't need any tactics to win this game. Place our pieces on strong squares, take the free pawn, and the game wins itself. His king is in the middle. I've got all of my pieces developed by move 20. Definitely an easy opening. Okay, he's attacking my rook. I could look for a quick blow, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna go to d3, just making sure that there is no sacrifice on g3 or any nonsense like that. No need to like sacrifice like at all when you're up so much material, such a dominating position. See, he's doing this goofy stuff. Take with the rook. That's why we just played rook d3, not giving him any single bit of counterplay. Now he's probably just gonna flag, but the position was simply over anyway. So main mistake that he made, giving me free pawn. Instead of that, he should have played obviously castle, and then I would have gone for d4 move. And this is, I think, a position that's I think analyzed in the course. Knight f3 is interesting. I think maybe knight f3 is the main idea that I recommend. I know these positions are definitely somewhat holdable for black if they play it properly. The general impression is that white always has the easier game, but black is also quite solid. I do remember, I think, looking at knight f3, and now they could play a move like e5, and still they should be getting decent counterplay with b5. Ignore what this engine says. I think the positions should be around balance with best play for black, but I think always we only need like one little wrong step from black, and white can get a pretty big initiative in this type of games. So yeah, just in case you were curious, guys, after bishop to h4, see, computer does not even say to take. Take is just decreasing your advantage. It's still like the same. But again, why would you give him any bit of hope? Yeah, just focus, keep your eyes on the ball. The ball is the backward pawn. That's what we do. So with that, I think we can move on to the next game. All right. Getting the white pieces, and I'm really hyped to begin with one e4. Leaving my London system player reputation at the door for now at least, and it is gonna be Vienna time. So starting with IC3, let's see whether we're gonna get any like spicy main lines or just some kind of bishop b4, d6 type of sidelines. Okay, it is bishop c5. For now, I'm gonna just start with bishop c4, trying to get back into the normal stuff. If he plays knight c6, there is queen g4 as a strong move. And in case he plays like d6, okay, that's avoiding that. So I'll just play d3, knight c6. Then I'm going to be going f4. Simply preparing to play knight f3. By the way, this is one of the nice perks compared to the Italian. In the Italian, you have the knight committed on f3 on the second move, so here you can just get in f4 first and then try to play knight f3. Now I'm trying to remember whether opponents got like any annoying knight g4 type of stuff. I think that is definitely a move, but I don't think it should be working that well. Still not super sure what the refutation was, and opponent goes for it, which is kind of funny. All right, this is really gonna be stretching out my memory now. Uh, Definitely remember some f5 ideas, knight f2, queen h5, and then if g6. How does this go? fg, fg. Maybe can I just play queen f3 there? Oof. So the point here is that the simple knight h3, I don't think it's so good because of queen h4 check, and then I'm gonna be having to play the move king f1. But then knight f2, queen e1. Oh, there's just bishop takes on h3, so that's like not good at all. Yeah, this is trouble. Okay, I think the line that we have to go for is f5, but I'll have to remember how to play after. So I think knight f2, queen h5, g6. It could potentially be the move queen h6. So this might actually end up being a super instructive game, but yeah, definitely I could have known this this variation better. I'll give you that. Threatening mate in 1, so opponent needs to take care of that. He does so by castling. I mean, he's got all the rights, but I think here we can just play knight f3 and then knight g5. And I do believe we're gonna be getting a strong attack. So knight f3, threatening rook f1 among other things. He takes, and now knight g5, threatening mate, h6 only move, and we could try to calculate this together. There is like bishop takes on f7 as an idea. If king h8, queen g6 just wins, and I'm just trying to think whether it makes sense to play bishop g5 or not, because you cannot play f6, and on queen e8 there is a move like knight e5. That may end up being even more beautiful. I think we're gonna go bishop g5. I'm not like super sure about knight g5. I kind of feel like it should definitely win after both knight f7 and bishop f7, but I think this could potentially be more cunning. Okay, look what I've got in mind, guys. So f6 not a move, counting on this the possibilities, and then I'm gonna play knight e5, counting on both knight e7 check and knight f6 check, and then the checkmate is gonna be unstoppable. So let's see how my opponent is gonna try to defend here. Definitely very interesting position that I think you're quite likely to get in your games, because it just looks like so tempting for black to go for this knight g4, knight f2, either like forcing white to lose the right of castling, or sometimes even winning the exchange, as in this case. But I think white must be getting winning attack here after the following idea. So knight e5, knight e7 is very much on the agenda. So that's why I think he's gonna play knight c6. But then I'm gonna hit him with knight f6, and that's putting him in a deadly mating net. So perhaps only move that's surviving now, it's knight to d7. But still, I do believe that with so many pieces, there should be something. I mean, maybe simplest f6. But I'll have to think more in that position, just to double check everything. Okay, queen d7. So opponent just doing nothing. He clearly is not seizing the danger here. He's like, okay, white's got like no attack. I'm just gonna sidestep, whatever. I don't really know what queen d7 is trying to do. Maybe, oh, I actually know. Knight d5 was hitting c7 and he just wanted to defend. I was like, even, guys, if I could take, I'm not even looking on that side on the board. All I'm seeing now is this. Okay, let's say this part. Yeah, that's not like... I'm not good at geometry, okay? Let's ignore that. He plays queen d7. But as I was saying, there's like an interesting possibility of knight e7. There's an interesting possibility of bishop f6 in these structures, and usually just leading to a mate by force. But also what I think it's actually the easiest, knight f6. Pawn takes, bishop takes. Only move would be, let's say, rook somewhere. But then queen g5, king f8, queen g7, king e8. And that is just a checkmate. So I think I'm just going to go knight f6. I hope I'm not missing any counterplay. And this might actually be quite a more instructive game that I imagine would be when I played f5, allowing him to take my rook. But I do believe that now he's simply lost because that's a double threat and I don't see a way for him to defend. I'm like down a rook and the minor piece by now. He's up like 7 points if you look at the material count, but I think he's simply defenseless against this threat. So this is some nice cooperation right there between my pieces. I think I'm gonna like self compliment right now until we wait for some moves. Okay, I hope you're like comfortable watching that. I know you are. I mean, if you guys are not doing it, I'm gonna do it. Okay, somebody has to do it. So bishop takes on f6, opponent staring at the position, calling his friends, asking for what to do, but I don't think there's a move. I'm like desperately trying to find a way to make the game longer, but I don't see one for him. This is really like one of the deadliest checkmating patterns. Get bishop, queen, get a really devastating attack with checkmate on g7. So yeah, opponent is just gonna burn down sometime. Yeah, maybe even left. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm like just he thinks about a possession, but he could have very well just left, just rage quit it. I'm gonna be like, I don't know. Do you guys like somebody would be able to like rage quit, feeling that this is gonna be a mate? Because I mean, at the end of the day, he's up like a rook and a bishop. So if there is some way he could sacrifice some material just to avoid the checkmate, still keep like a slight material edge, he could be playing for a win. But do you think he like actually realized there's no defense? I think that's like hard or impressive for a 600 to do. But I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. Oh, there you go. He's here, guys. He's been like tanking the whole time. King d1, okay. No checks now. Okay, any king move was winning, but I just like this no checks approach. Literally any king move was winning. There was no wrong king move here. But just this, because there's no checks, feels a bit faster and still the same idea that we're about to checkmate him. And yeah, I mean, he's been just looking for a way to defend this whole time. While I thought he was rage quitting, but I think he's doing the right thing. He's trying to fight on. h6, stopping queen g5, but does allow queen g4 and queen g7. But I think most instructive is to highlight this construction on the board, guys. Get these two bad boys together. That is checkmate town population MF Penny right there. So I'm actually quite proud about this game. I wasn't really expecting to get such a beautiful attack. But I hope you guys find this somewhat instructive. Now the position is so winning that you can literally play a move like a3. But I'm just going to checkmate to end the game here. And with that being said, I think we just managed to get the most beautiful game of the rating climb so far. So by the way, if somehow you're first time on the channel and this is the first time you see me playing chess, well, thank God, because usually I don't play that well. But besides that, this is actually a rating climb. So I'm just trying to take a fresh account and getting into like 2000 at least, let's say, with the Vienna opening and with one e4. So you may want to watch the whole series. I don't know, just saying. I mean, if you don't have anything better to do with your time, just saying, I don't really see what else would you do besides watching my channel and catching up with Amurant live streams. But anyways, we don't have to get into that here, okay? You don't have to tell me. So, bishop to c4. Let's actually quickly double check what happened in this game. Knight f6, f4, knight g4. Okay, this engine doesn't really know what's up, guys. This engine ain't good. Chess.com engine, you don't analyze openings with this because it's not that deep. I played f5, best line. He goes knight f2, like, rook is hanging. But I told you, yeah, I had a feeling. I couldn't really recall what the move was on g6. Whether it's queen h6. I kind of felt that this position, then bishop g5, queen g7 I was considering. I wasn't sure. I was like, still, I needed to do some calculation. But I do recall including this in the course. That's for sure, in there. And after castles, oh, knight f3 was a mistake. Oh, knight f3, yeah. It's actually a bit better to start bishop g5 with similar ideas, I guess, to what I used. Now, bishop g5 was strongest. Knight d5, very good. Now, okay, like when he's knight d7 move, I guess you can just take on c7, but I would have played f6. Yeah, I was saying this just seems kind of winning. And the point is, if he does like nothing, let's say you play knight e7. Oh, no, actually, yeah, that's fine, but simply take here and then this is just mate with a queen sack even. I mean, that's unnecessary, but it would also make a pretty nice final picture. So, knight e7, there was simply no saving for him. He just took the poisoned rook and then just... oh, there was mate in one. Jeez, I missed the mate in one. Oh! Why am I so bad? That was a mate in one because the bishop's like pinning the pawn. I completely forgot about that. I was just like really tunnel visioning this queen h6 and highlighting this mating construction on the board. But queen g6 was also a pretty nice little trick because black has no moves since the pawn is pinned. So yeah, I think we went over all the critical moments of this game. Knight g4, no bueno for opponent. f5, white is better. So with that being said, we can move on to the next game. Slight mention, h5 is quite interesting, but we don't have to get into that here. All right, now, hopefully, our opponent will make a move, and it is indeed e5, which is definitely quite an interesting invitation for us to play the Vienna opening that I'm about to do. And against knight e6, remember, we're not playing Vienna Gambit because pawn takes creates big queen h4 threat. So that's still playable, but not a huge fan of. Against this, I just go for Vienna opening, just going bishop c4. Now, knight f6 is the most common move. Bishop b4 also a thing. You could think of like knight d5, trying to refute it. Just gonna play knight e2 and give him the chance to transpose back into the normal main lines. When he gives the bishop pair for free, I'm just gonna take it. Okay, maybe interesting to take with B or D pawn as well, but I'm just keeping it very simple. Play d3 and I have one deadly trick in mind. If I can play bishop g5, knight d5, that is usually winning all the games in this rating range. So just setting up this so we can give him double pawns. That is definitely gonna be a nightmare for my opponent. If he goes g5, I'm definitely very happy about this because his king is gonna be very vulnerable for the rest of the game. cb5, trying to counterattack, but I think besides sidestepping, it's nice for us to begin with taking on f6, doubling up the pawns, and then I think bishop d5 is pretty strong, just making sure the knight is not gonna leave for a while, and then can just bring the queen closer to the king, in castle short, break with f4, potentially use a rook lift after. So definitely a bunch of interesting ideas. Yeah, not sure what to begin with. I think castling is by far simplest. Just want to do f4, open up rook's path, and well, queen c8 defends the bishop, trying to move the knight away, but forgets about the pretty important f6 pawn. So I think you can just grab that. Then the queen is coming over, and that's very much how you get a pretty easy win with a Vienna. Yeah, there you go. Seems to be a common pattern. Bishop on f6, queen coming over to g7. Already we had that bunch of times, and we do just get a very quick checkmate. What you can like really remember from this game, and that makes it super effective, is whenever you get this annoying pin with the knight coming over. This is usually how beginners win this game. Let's say when I was like 10 years old, everybody wins games like this. The better player goes 95, black goes h6. You take intermediate, and yeah, who gets to deliver this first, both with white or black, wins. That's how most of the games between kids go, I think. So uh, we saw that here. At this point, opponent really had to do something like g5, but as I was saying, I think still bishop g3, and in this structure, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with h4, so white has a pretty promising position, and just an easy win, especially when they play bishop b4, take on c3. I wanted to give him the chance of going knight f6, d3, and then d5, leading to interesting positions after ed5, knight e5, castle. I mean, we can take... That's not the proper move order, though. Proper move order is to go castle and then do this, followed by f4. Okay, this is one of the main tabias of the opening, leading to interesting lines. Hopefully we're gonna get to see that during the series. Alright, getting another white game, and hopefully we can continue in style with another Vienna. And let's see what opponents got against it. He goes knight f6, so against this we go Vienna Gambit. Against the other knight move, 1 to c6, we play Vienna game. No Gambits there. Remember, against King's Knight, we do the Gambit, hoping to see EF. d5, only reasonable move. Really doubt that they'll play this. Also expecting d6 somehow, or knight c6. That's also something they could play. But EF, typical mistake, by far the most common move, e5. Big advantage already. Queen e7 or knight g8 is normally what they do. Knight h5 will gladly accept the offer, but it's mainly knight g8, I think. And then we'll just have to play knight f3. So let's see. Knight cannot jump in the center because our body is doing a great job restricting it. Queen e7 pinning, so just play queen e2. Unpinning and reinforcing this idea. Now knight g8 only move. And then I'm going to be playing knight f3, followed by d4. Knight f3, obviously, to stop queen h4 from like getting played. So knight g8, I'm wondering, does knight d5 make any sense there? I don't think it really does, since I looked up this position, but it could be like an interesting way to play for a trap that maybe somebody suggested to me once, I think in the comments on my Chessable course. Again, I wouldn't really count on my memory, guys. Yeah. I think in Romania, it's fair to say we have a saying that you shouldn't believe in the Dacia car. It's like a car brand that's like Romanian. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird saying. Don't ask me why. So I wouldn't believe in the Dacia car or in my memory. I think that's like pretty relatable. Okay, unfortunately, it looks like our opponent might have just disconnected, which is like really sad, but it's just like this opening that's making them disconnect when they have such a bad position, honestly. But besides that, I think, yeah. We got a pretty easy, effortless 5 movers, and we also got to see this bad joke about the Romanian car brand that hopefully will get out on the editing. So we can just move on to the next game. Alright, looks like we are getting the white pieces once again. Hopefully we're gonna be getting a Vienna or maybe something else if opponent decides to make a move. And we do see the French defense. Alright, this is a sign that we're about to see the Schlechter variation on the board in case we'll see d5, but nope. I'm done. Okay, I don't know what queen h4 is about. Just hitting the e4 pawn. I guess I will just try to defend it and then make the argument that the enemy queen is misplaced on h4. Okay, he's going for a little trappy line, because if I play knight f3, he could go queen takes on e4 check, since the bishop is actually pinning the knight. But again, just play bishop d3. I think there is nothing wrong with that. And on the very next move, I am about to almost finish development and gain a tempo with knight f3. So that cannot be too bad. Hitting the queen and preparing to castle short on the very next move. Just not really messing around. Just castling as soon as we can. Perhaps could do a3. Thinking of forcing black to give up the bishop pair. I mean, if he takes without me even having to spend the tempo on a3, I mean, so be it. I'm fine with that. It seems like he's preparing bishop to a6, trying to trade off the typically bad French bishop. Okay, first of all, I think we can both agree that it's useful to have a Luft, and when you can even gain a tempo with it, can hardly be a bad idea. Let's see where the enemy queen is gonna go. The queen could actually, surprisingly enough, I think it could get trapped quite easily if black is not careful. So I think queen h5 is the move. Queen g6 is really asking for e5. Still, not seeing the queen trap yet there, but I'm just saying queen h5 really feels like the move. So yeah, opponent plays that. I could think of advanced stuff, but I think just keeping it simple, finishing development while gaining a tempo. So I'm just trying to develop according to the basic opening principles without really trying to find like the most precise answer possible. Just trying to develop my pieces. Okay, you can think of me, I'm just a guy that's trying to develop his pieces. That's it. You can do that too. That's simple. Okay, opponent plays bishop a6. I guess we're just gonna collect our free pawn, because well, that's why we have played bishop f4 among other things. And on bishop takes on d3, I think taking with the pawn is quite nice, strengthening the center. I may have a threat of bishop b8 in some lines, but also simply taking on b6 is fine. Now I think I'm just gonna take with the queen just to like connect the rooks, finish development. So guys, move 11, I have castled, I have connected the rooks, and I have a strong pawn center. Try to do that, and you're gonna get out of this type of velo below 1000 in no time. Okay, that's simple. Gonna pick up another free pawn. Look at my opponent, he's even like 2 moves away from castling, while I spent literally 2 moves on collecting his pawns. So definitely you can see the drawback of developing the queen this early in the game. Yes, he tried his weird thingy right there, but it didn't work out and he's getting punished. Rook b8 hitting my bishop, I can just defend it, or I can step back on c5 since the bishop's pretty useful on this diagonal anyways, and might end up being the same thing since there is only one open file on the board, so we should be able to take control of it with rook a b1. Okay, open file, instantly put the rook there. Can hardly go wrong with such things. f5 once again. We don't even look there. Maybe there was something, but our priority is open file. Just keep it very simple. Don't get lost in things that are not so important. Take with the queen, because otherwise I would have lost a piece, and knight f6. Okay, now time to think for a bit. He's hitting my queen. I can just retreat. Now, important thing is that he cannot castle because the bishop's covering that, and the king cannot go through check. So I can move the queen wherever, but we need to keep in mind he won't be able to castle. So that's perhaps an useful information. So there is definitely queen f4 with rook b8 ideas going for tricks. I think I'm just gonna go queen f4 and like knight e5, play queen d6. Simply rook b7. I meant on the 7th, because usually when you have the open file, the 7th rank is the most vulnerable, and whenever you can like infiltrate in your opponent's camp on the 7th rank with your rook, that is usually the best move. So waiting for opponent to do something. If king f7, both rook b7 and knight e5 check are very tempting. And for black, it's simply very tough already to make a move. Perhaps best for him could be something like queen d5, trying to stop me from playing queen d6, but among other things there, I can go for the trick with rook b8 check. However, I don't want to play moves such as rook b8. I don't really want to go for tactics yet. Even though it's a simple tactic, I feel like below 1000, we should be able to win without tactics. Just playing these kind of natural moves, infiltrating, yeah, well, following these rules that I just mentioned. And on the next move, I could give a check, okay? Could have done it now too, but I just want to get you into the habit of infiltrating with your rook on the 7th. By the way, rook b7 has rook takes d7 ideas since the knight is pinned. So he defends, just gonna do knight e5, just like I promised. Giving a check. If he takes, I can take with opponent. To me, it looks like we're winning a piece there. And if he goes back onto g8, which is perhaps the better move, I guess I would have taken on c6 and then maybe infiltrating with queen c7. But I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it quite in depth. Now, what black can do, they could throw in a check. I'm gonna have to play the only move king h2 and thinking of ways of potentially making counterplay, maybe queen d5 for him, hitting both the bishop and the rook. But I think we can simply dodge that with a move such as rook c7 perhaps. Pretty sure we've got other ideas as well. But we'll see if he finds queen d5. I think queen d5, maybe just taking his knight is the most precise, and just try to go for mating attack as his king is very weak. But you see that these guys in 700 are not even going for the best defense. We'll just take a pawn, which is like similar to resignation here. Just collecting the free knight, and next up, we will be trying to infiltrate. He's gonna take back with a pawn, and I'm gonna go bishop to d4. My guess is he's gonna play e5, thinking that he forked me, but we're just gonna take it with the bishop, so that is not a problem. And other than that, if he goes passive with a move like queen g6, we are pretty happy with, yeah, queen c7 I was thinking. Now, of course, we're up a piece. You know, we always trade queens, and just forcing as many trades as we can will just make these games so much easier to win. Now, opponent just did that for us, so only thing that's left, take all of his pawns and queen slowly but surely. I'll take that with a check first and go to k7. He's got no way to cover this, and he can try rook e2, but I mean I can pick up this and still I'm like kind of defending everything, so not really much counterplay that opponent has. And yeah, resignation wouldn't really be that bad here, I think, for black. But if you're playing in these type of ratings, I don't think it's a very good idea to resign either. So I think he's doing the right thing for this elo. We should kind of keep playing, because below 1000 people literally blunder in every single position. Like for instance, somebody that's below 1000 could easily next move play rook e6, you take his rook. It's still a draw, but then you beat him somehow because he's gonna blunder again. So I think that's a very good tip, especially if you're playing blitz. Okay, if you're playing rapid, it's gonna be harder no matter like how weak your opponent is to make these kind of like atrocious blunders with a lot of time on the clock. So maybe that it makes more sense to like save perhaps like half an hour if you resign earlier, or 20 minutes. But in blitz, when time is limited, definitely I think playing on is kind of okay time wise, and proven to work quite good. So just gonna go g4, time to advance the pawns and bring my king. I've got two connected passers plus a bishop, so obviously I've got more than enough to win this position. I'm just gonna try to improve my pieces slowly. So we start with the king because the king is gonna be helping the pawns, and hopefully he's gonna go king g5, allowing a cute pawn checkmate. Otherwise, king h7 is like the best defense, but no, we actually do get the pawn checkmate on the board. So I hope, yeah, that was somewhat instructive. Opening wise was a bit unlucky because we didn't get to show any like interesting theoretical line, but this is kind of what you want to get in the opening when you're surprised. Just get a nice center, get all your pieces developed, and connect your rooks, and then your chances of winning these type of games are increasing dramatically just by doing that. So with that being said, I think we can move on to the next game. I really appreciate you making it this far into the video, and before I let you go, I just wanted to mention that all the openings that I'm gonna be using in this E4 rating climb are actually my recommendations in my 1E4 chessable courses, Ambush 1E4. So you can check that out if you wanna take your opening to the very next level. You can get your money back in 30 days guarantee if there's something you don't like, so there is nothing you can lose. And with that being said, I'll see you around the channel. Take care.